Their mission was to help Hazara tribesmen in Afghanistan grow more food, something they'd done twice before. Still, it was risky, and some GIs and their families in Texas had a bad feeling about it. A few wanted to skip it outright. I had a sick pit of dread when he went on that mission, Plybon's wife, Tara, said, adding that other spouses shared her sense of foreboding. Helicopter airlift to Jaghari, about 7 hours away by road, was the obvious choice. But when a second air request was scratched, ADT-2 went to a ground game. Texas Army National Guard soldiers would drive through a 7-mile stretch of land controlled by the Taliban en route to a high mountain pass. Mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles couldn't navigate the narrow switchbacks in the high mountains, so the mission came down to armored Humvees, which are extremely vulnerable to roadside bombs. They would leave forward operating base Ghazni after 2 a.m. in hopes of slipping past the Taliban, who weren't known as early risers. The 6-truck convoy left from Ghazni early October 12. The mission went well. When it was time to go home, the convoy returned in daylight rather than risk turning through the switchbacks in darkness. The Texans were on edge. They had an advantage driving through a series of wetness, dry desert creek beds, to avoid the dirt road, where mines were more likely to be planted. That plan was jettisoned when one of the gun trucks lost its four-wheel drive. Then at 12:50 p.m., a huge blast ripped through the third gun truck in the column. It was a pressure plate mine, and it blasted Plybon out of the number 3 Humvee. The two in the front seat died instantly and a third, Sergeant Todd Plybon, was barely alive. "I saw a form of a body," said SPC Thomas Kinney, 37, a Marble Falls paramedic. "I didn't even recognize him. I had to ask him who he was." Plybon lay partially on his left side. The turret had settled on his right leg and part of his chest. Somehow he was lucid, even telling jokes. It took several men and another truck with a tow strap to get the turret off him. "I gave him a very low expectant," Kinney said. "That means we expected him to die." Plybon had suffered a collapsed lung, 2 broken legs, 2 broken ribs, a torn femoral artery, damage to his liver and spleen, a torn thigh and bleeding in the brain. Today, Plybon's legs are so stiff, when he awakens, that he has to take medication to ease the pain. His short-term memory is shot, but doctors say some of it will come back. The injuries are too extensive for him to stay in the Guard. Plybon is dogged by pain and, though always a quiet, serious man, he appears more so while continuing a long rehabilitation stint at Brooke Army Medical Center. Gripping the metal cane in his left hand, he walks tentatively, his head down, face tense. He has demons. "I'd rather not talk about that," he said at a recent gathering of soldiers in Austin, "if that's okay." In a surreal experience full of what-ifs, Plybon has settled the issue of what the war and his last mission was about. It's funny. You joined with the idea of going to war for your country, and making sure you fight the war there versus over here. But in the end, Plybon said, dropping his head on his cane while fighting back tears, in the end you're fighting for each other. You're there for your buddies. For each other. Aprons in Action is running a contest in Facebook, where people vote to determine who will win a $25,000 Home Depot gift card. A local veterans organization called Heroes Night Out has been in a neck-and-neck contest with another vets organization in Ohio. Heroes Night Out has pledged to help Sergeant Plybon renovate his house, which is in a bad state of repair, and isn't handicap accessible. Plus he has no air conditioning. I'd like to think we can take a few seconds at least to help him. By going to Aprons in Action Facebook and voting for Heroes Night Out Cedar Park. Let's see if we can make it a bright sunshiny day.
I don't know what to say. Thank you.